We've got a lot to get to, including 2 live commitments here in studio. Can we flash over to the other side? It's not to ruin things here, but R.J. Maryland of Southlake Carroll is getting ready to commit live here on Texas Football Today, coming up here in just a moment. So let's talk a little bit about how this is going to work. R.J. Maryland is going to commit. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to bring in Jack Curtis, Highland Park defensive end. He will be making his commitment here as well. We're so excited to have both of these big-time prospects here committing live on TexasFootball.com. So let's talk a little bit about R.J. Maryland and this young man. When you take a look at what R.J. Maryland brings to the table, what really stands out to you?
Athleticism, size, somebody who's ready to play the tight end position at the next level. He played wide receiver, of course, at Southlake Carroll. I think anytime you watch the tape on him, he's somebody who is a mismatch. And I think physically he's ready to contribute wherever he decides to go at the tight end position. So I'm really excited to see where he ends up.
You know, one thing I'm really interested in is this is a guy who's a winner, obviously. Yeah. You know, he's won at Southlake Carroll, won there. Whoever gets his commitment is going to be getting a winner for sure. And Powers, you've seen a lot of big-time playmakers. R.J. Maryland, good bloodlines as well, but a guy who's going to make an impact wherever he lands.
I'll second everything that Ishmael said about his talents, but one thing that really jumped out to me this year is when they needed a senior leader to step up, especially after Quinn Ewers left the team early. It was R.J. Maryland who they went to, and he not only succeeded in that role, he stepped up and was the guy in that offense. And his game transcended his senior year, and that's what you want to see from a top recruit. You want to see them have their best year on the field as a senior, and R.J. Maryland certainly did that.
Enough of us. Let's go over to the real star of the show, R.J. Maryland, who's standing by with our Mallory Hartley.
I'm standing here by Southlake tight end R.J. Maryland and family, just seconds away from announcing his big commitment. But first, R.J., I've got to ask you, man, how are you feeling today? I know you're a little bit nervous, but how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Ready to get this thing over with, and yeah, it's been really great.
That's a perfect answer. Well, man, the floor is yours. Where are you headed?
I would like to thank Dave Campbell's for having me. Like to thank my family for helping me through the process. And same with my coaches. They really helped me with all this. With that being said, I will be signing with Southern Methodist University.
Man, that's really awesome. RJ, I'm going to ask you a couple questions now, all right? You're standing here next to your dad, Russell Maryland. You know, he played football for the University of Miami, which is the other hat right about there. So tell me, what were the factors that went into your decision between you choosing SMU over Miami?
Oh yeah, it's the better school for me in my situation. Yeah, just starting my own legacy.
Absolutely, and Russell, over to you. You know, you've watched your son grow up and fall in love with the sport that he is now playing at the next level. What does it mean to you to be standing here right next to your son on this special day?
It means everything. I mean, I've seen him from when he was born. He had the Carroll Dragon helmet on, and I remember the times we were outside throwing the ball back and forth, and his flag coaches here, his high school coaches are here, and just. It's really a great feeling. I appreciate all you guys for hosting this. I'm very proud of him, and now it's time for him to do his thing and create, as he said, his own legacy. So it's a great day.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, RJ, and we wish you all the best of luck in your next endeavors. Tepper, back to you.
All right. How about that? RJ Maryland heading to SMU. I don't think there's any two ways about it, a coup for Rhett Lashley and company.
Oh, 100%. You look at some of the tight ends that have come through that program, Grant Calcaterra last year, and then under Rhett Lashley, Kylan Granson before that. That's a program that's pumped out tight ends, obviously with a new head coach now. But I mentioned Kylan Granson, somebody who's in the NFL now, who's going to be a breakout player. That's a program and that's an offense that can pump out quality tight ends, and they know prospects when they see them.
National Signing Day obviously is rolling on. There's going to be other players signing across the course of the day. But Powers, right now, I don't know about you, I look at R.J. Maryland as the top prospect in this 2022 SMU class.
Yeah, he's definitely right up there. I mean, it's a really good signing class. They had to roll with some punches. Of course, having a huge coaching change when Sonny Dykes went basically across town to TCU, and Rhett Lashley and co. have really not missed a beat, in my opinion. And what I really love about RJ Maryland's commitment to SMU is that he is a true mismatch nightmare. He's a guy who you can't just pin him down to one position. Calling him a tight end isn't fair. You know, he's a wide receiver who can play tight end. Flex him out wide and let him get some space, and he is going to be a terror to linebackers in the AAC. I mean, I think this is like you said, it's a huge commitment for them.
Yeah, you know, when I take a look at what RJ Maryland does, in a lot of ways, he is kind of that. He's the new breed of tight end, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you think about what's playing in the college level and at the NFL, right? You know, you bring up guys like Travis Kelce, right? Who those are basically big receivers. You know what I mean?
Right, yes.
And in a lot of ways, that hybrid type is becoming a lot of what a lot of what's going on in the recruiting world. And for SMU to be able to grab him, and it does feel like in the Rhett Lashley offense, it feels like he's a really good fit for what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And you saw his highlights roll right here. He makes tremendous one-handed catches. And what he brings to the table, I think that you really have to put into context is that he's a red zone weapon, right? Mm-hmm. He's a guy that you can rely on to make a big play when they need a touchdown, when they're in a scoring opportunity. This is a guy who can get the job done, and those are the guys that you need. I mean, red zone efficiency is probably one of the most integral components to college football, and I think R.J. Maryland will give that Mustangs offense a key component there.
You know, one other thing, Ish, that stands out to me about R.J. Maryland's game, and I go back to something that I said before he committed, was you talk about pedigree and you talk about a winner. Obviously, being the son of a college football Hall of Famer and a number 1 overall draft pick, and Russell Maryland helps. But I think it also, you go back to what he was able to do at Southlake Carroll and playing at a program that has played at the state championship stage, that's played big games. You know, he's going to. I think that for a lot of players, they're going to go into college and it's going to be maybe overwhelming. Certainly, it's a big leap up, but maybe because of the places that he's played and the games that he's played in, he can be more ready to be a big time factor early on.
I like that Powers mentioned the fact that it was a lot of pressure coming into the year on him, that he embraced it. Coming from a state finalist team, losing, of course, we mentioned Quinn Ewers, but also Brady Boyd was a big receiver for them last year. He stepped up into that wide receiving core, and you know, anytime you lose 2 Division I FBS talents, and you have to step up, that's a lot of pressure on you. And he did it with flying colors, and like Powers said, had a breakout year. So,
all right, let me ask you, Powers, about, because Mallory kind of asked the question over there. The other option was Miami. You know, in Miami, obviously there's bloodlines there with Russell Maryland. Is this a surprise to you? Is this, you know, coming in now? Now that we know that R.J. Maryland is heading to SMU, did that come as a surprise to you?
Well, you know, he was a one-time Boston College commit, too. You know, take that into account when you're kind of dissecting the course of his recruitment. He's a guy who picked up a ton of offers throughout the process, and I think Miami was a legitimate option. Of course, his father played there, but I'm not surprised anymore whenever a big-time recruit stays in the Dallas area and opts to go to SMU. This is a new era for SMU, and they've done a really good job, especially recruiting local kids.
How important do you think, because obviously there's been a lot of turnover there with the coaching change, with Sonny Dykes going across to TCU, Rhett Lashley coming in, how important is a commit like this to signaling to other prospects that the winning's not going to change here and that you can be a star here? How important is a commitment like this to the future of the SMU program?
Well, I think it's pretty important from this standpoint, too, is that SMU's become a premier destination for transfer talent, right? And the fact that they've also kept their eyes focused on getting top-tier high school prospects from the state of Texas is a good sign not only for the recruits around here, it's a good sign for the Texas high school football coaching community who wants their kids to go to a program like an SMU. They haven't abandoned high school recruiting, and I think that's key for SMU as it moves forward, because they're able to get good talents and mix them in with key components in the transfer portal, and I think that's going to put a successful product on the field, and that's why that they're going to continue to rack up W's on Saturdays.
Let me ask you, Ish, is this a guy, you know, Powers mentioned that SMU has gone into the transfer portal a lot, especially, you know, you mentioned Grant Calcaterra, a guy that came in through the transfer portal at the tight end position. You are the host of Republic of Football, our college football podcast here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Is R.J. Maryland the type of guy you think could see the field early for these Mustangs?
I don't see why not, because typically when you use tight ends, you like tight end depth as well. And so even if he doesn't see the field as a starter, I do think he'll be able to see the field. And he's athletic enough, we mentioned, to once he gets in a college program, in a college system, in a college workout regimen, he's gonna fit right in. So.
Absolutely. I think that it's a big get for Rhett Lashley and company. R.J. Maryland, the Southlake Carroll tight end, heading to the Hilltop.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.